Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage, joined by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's doing well today on this beautiful Wednesday. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. And as always, we want to start our day off by taking massive action. That action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, centering yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trust in your education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So if everybody can hear me okay, drop me a one in the chat, please. Beautiful. All right. Um, let's get to it, man. So um let's hop over to trading economics. We'll take a look at the fundamentals. We will see what's popping there, and then we will dive into the charts. All right. And boom. So, German consumer morale rises to over 2-year high. Consumer climate indicator in Germany rose to 20.9 heading into June 2020. Heading into June 2024 from a marginally revised negative 24.0 in May, above the market forecast. It was the highest reading since April 2022 amid slowing inflation and rising wages. All right. Income expectations notched their peak at 2.5 years, while economic prospects picked up and the tendency to save fell sharply. All right. So overall, the morale got a bit of a boost. All right. Yen weakens. Japanese yen depreciated past 157, hitting its lowest levels in 4 weeks and facing pressure from a strong dollar and treasury yields. Those moves came as lackluster auctions of the U.S. Government debt raised worries about demand for U.S. bonds, while a Federal Reserve official added fuel to interest rate concerns that keeps a large gap between U.S. and Japanese yields in place, encouraging yen carry trades. Meanwhile, Bank of Japan Board Sanjay Adachi said that the central bank may raise interest rates if sharp falls in the yen lead to further inflation. Right? We've been talking about that part for a little bit, right? If the sharp moves impact inflation, then we could see interest rate changes to counteract that, right? Last week, data showed that Japan's core inflation rate slowed to 2.2% in April from 2.6 in March due to a milder food inflation in line with expectation. The headline rate also fell to 2.5 in April from 2.7 in March, easing from a second straight month. All right. So weakness in the yen, as we've been talking about for quite some time. All right. Over to the calendar. Let me refresh this here. And da, 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 da. So today, right, there's your German consumer sentiment. German preliminary CPI, don't have a number there. That'll come out sometime today. Ba, 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 ba. Richmond Manufacturing Index comes out at 10 o'clock. FOMC member Williams will be at the microphone. We have other FOMC members speaking later on today. We also have Chairman Jordan from Swiss National Bank speaking this evening. All right. So a bit of a lighter day today from a fundamental perspective. Um, Yesterday, that Aussie CPI came in above expectation, right? So saw a bit of a boost in the Australian dollar last night. U.S. consumer confidence also came in above expectation as well. All right. So that's where we are. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning. How are you, man?
Hold on one second. I can't hear you. Go ahead, Benny. I think I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Good morning, everybody. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Yourself?
Doing pretty good, man. Always glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fundamentally, anything top of mind for you? Anything standing out that you might have come across?
Just paying attention to, those bond yields, right? So the report that was that they got poor results from the bond auctions for the 2 and the 5 year. So what that's telling me is that the market has a concern over the economy in general in regards to future rate hikes, and things of that nature. And we know that who was that? Uh it's Kashkari, right? So from
Yes.
Minneapolis, the Minneapolis Fisher was talking about the potential for additional rate hikes and inflationary pressure. So, when you see those bond yields creep up as a result, of the poor results from the bond auction, that's saying that those bonds offered at the bond auction weren't as attractive to investors, which will force, you know, which forces, the U.S. Treasury to have to offer a higher bond yield, right? So
Mm,
a higher interest rate that results in a higher bond yield to make those bonds more attractive, right? So that's why you see that support for the dollar because that you have to buy those in what U.S. dollars, right?
right.
So it just kind of gives you an idea um, of what the market sentiment you know is becoming. In regards to the latest data, consumer confidence, increasing Bob and what Kashkari said in regards to the potential for additional rate hikes um, if inflationary pressures return. So that one really caught my eye. So that's very important.
Mm. So when it comes to the dollar and the DXY, that would cause that to move to the upside.
Yep, yep, yep.
Got it.
So yeah, because they have to get people to buy those bonds. They'll have to, you know, they have to offer higher interest rates,
High interest rates, and
which
then
which
that
which
translates
which
to
pushes the
dollars.
which pushes the yields up, so
Got
that
it.
so they'll become more attractive.
Got it. Got it. Appreciate that, bro.
Hmm.
Team, any questions on the bond conversation or anything else that you might come across from a fundamental perspective? No?
No.
No? All right, cool deal.
So
Um,
for example, I was I was at a this past weekend. I was talking to a gentleman that actually coaches on my son's football team, and he works, in the investment space. And he was like, the market is not acting right now. And he was like, because you would think that we would be seeing a correction. He was like, but of course, because of what's going on with some of the tech stocks and Nvidia, it's just continuing to push the market up. So what he knows fundamentally, working for the investment firm is what we were seeing technically on the chart. Like, man, this S&P 500 is pretty high. It had reached like what was the 80-20 zone at one point, just kept pushing, and he was just like, he was like, I'm waiting on that correction so I could buy it. So he said he was like, I'm just sitting on 14 million right now that could be distributed, for my
mm,
clients. But one of the things that he said, so I said, you're just sitting in cash. And he was like, no. He said, no. He was like, I haven't, I forget he told me the symbol too, but it's a bond. It's a particular type of bond. I want to say it's like some type of ETF. But he was like, I just have it sitting there. He was like, it's like stealing if you're getting it. He was like, I'm getting a return at 5.25.
Oh
He's
yeah.
like, so he's like, so I've just got he's like, so I've just got it parked. He's like, but I'm waiting on an opportunity to buy. He's like, but the prices are just too high right now. So he just doesn't have it sitting on the sideline. He has it in I think a bond ETF or something like that, to where he's gonna get 5.25 because that's attractive, right? If I'm just parking the
Okay.
money at 5.25.
Yeah. Yeah. Take that all day long as opposed to nothing.
Right, we're virtually zero risk compared to having it in the market. I'm
Hmm.
still getting five. I'm still getting 5.25, right? So that's how they think.
Got it. Got it. Valuable. Um, cool. Tyrone, if you're able to unmute, can you tell us a little bit about that article you posted yesterday regarding copper? Something Joy's been following big time. You posted an article yesterday as well.
Yes, hello. Right, so the article itself, let's have a look. Let me just get it up again. Um, Bear with me a second. I'm so sorry. I'm just a little bit of a rush because I'm at work as
No,
well.
that's all right.
So,
If you're not able to, that's okay.
nanosecond.
Let me see. There's the article there. Anybody that might have missed it in the community.
Yes, so it was in regards, of course, to what you and well, Joy posted it up, and of course you had a look into copper. And from that from that time when that was posted until now, copper has broke recent highs.
Okay.
Um, I seen the article. I had a quick skim read of it, but I haven't dug deep into it just as of yet. But I thought this information would have been helpful towards definitely of the investment of copper that you're looking at.
Understanding, yeah. Yep. Cool. Understanding the drivers behind it. Is that what it's talking about? What's
That's
driving
correct.
the rise in price?
That's correct. Yeah.
Perfect. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. So we've been talking about copper for quite some time, and this might not be the chart here. I think that's the chart. Is this the chart you more in line with what you have, Joy?
Man, I didn't quit looking for a chart
All right.
because my
All right.
first digit is a 5, and yeah, I can't find a valid chart to follow the one my
Okay.
broker used.
Okay. But this is what we were looking at, right? Looking for a pullback back to retest 46.27, and then price to continue. Since that time last, I looked at it, right? Price pushed up and now it's coming back down. So got a nice retracement. Now we've turned over and pushing back to the upside, right? There's our 80-20 on copper, shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, breakdown, got us back to that 382, and we got to turn over and press them back to the upside. So appreciate that, Tyrone. Appreciate that, Joy, right? Regardless of the time frame, regardless of the asset class, this 80-20 plays out beautifully in each direction. All right. Donette, K, JC, Michelle, you guys got any updates from the accountability group from the meeting yesterday?
We're just making sure that we are being consistent with meeting our goals. So in becoming consistently profitable traders and consistent in our daily habits. So just making sure that we are being accountable to that. And I know for me, having the accountability group, it becomes top of mind because JC put together that awesome spreadsheet that we can use to track our goals month by month. So next month, I think we said yesterday that we're going to be, for example, reading the Zurich Axioms, which is about really about risk and reward in trading, but also in life. And so in becoming consistently profitable in the trading space, also becoming consistent in our daily lives and the commitments that we make to ourselves.
Beautiful. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. If you guys have not gotten the book, Zurich Axiom, definitely grab that if you want to follow along with the team in their reading for the month of June. All right. Done that seconds, those thoughts. Benit, you got anything to add? No, maybe not. All right, maybe unmuted on accident. All right, cool deal. So appreciate that update from the accountability group. We'll continue to check in with you guys and see how things continue to progress as we move forward. So beautiful. All right, let's hop over to the DXY, take a look at things there. And we see, right, yesterday we had that pull back and prices turned over. Now we're trying to push back to the upside. It's on a daily time frame. So we'll see if we're able to break this down trend line and give us a push to the upside. We know we got data coming in later on this week regarding CPE, right? Consumer Price Index. I'm sorry, expenditure. So we'll continue to watch the dollar, see how things move there. All right. And we talked about yesterday this dollar CAD. Danette gave us this heads up on this sub fib 80-20 to the downside. Price is moving down here, shallow retracement 118 and 127. And look at the move. Boom. Right. We're already back to that 382. So if you took advantage of this move, right, it's up 39 pips with a little bit more to go to that take profit one at the 382. So appreciate you, Donette, for giving us a heads up on that move. Drop some sevens for you in the chat. Beautiful. Appreciate it. All right. Michelle already got her book. Zurich Axiom. Jeremy has it already. Michelle got her on the call last night. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So that's the dollar CAD moving to the upside. So that was a beautiful scenario there on a sub fib if it met your rules. All right. So that is that. Let's take a look at this dollar yen. You read the article about weakening of the yen, and you see, right? Let's go back to daily time frame. Okay, here we are on the daily. Price just continues to rise, right? Benny called out that reversal here as price was pushing to the upside, and we continue to get that price movement. So we'll continue to watch this dollar yen and see how things go, but we're pushing right back into the 118, 127 zone on the daily time frame. Still got a bullish cloud, right? But we're pressing up. We're at 157, 244 as we speak. Down to the 4. See that move a little bit clearer here, right? On the 4-hour time frame. We also have the 80-20 scenario, right? But we're pressing back toward the highs. All right, pressing back toward the highs, and we got sub fibs running off of the low, tracking price as it moves up. On the sub fib, we do have an 80-20. So let's watch and see what happens over the next couple of days to see if we get a catalyst to push this back down to the downside. We may not, right? It'd be more on the Bank of Japan doing something opposed to the dollar weakening from what we can see, right, based on the fundamentals. So we'll watch this and see if we get price to turn over or if price just continues to trickle to the upside, getting us back toward that 160 number. Okay. We could definitely come back and give us a double top scenario in that range before we hear from the Bank of Japan and move price back down to the downside. Okay. So let's continue to watch this and see how it develops, but also be patient as price continues to rise. So back down to that 1 hour, Is that my capital fib? Let's see. Yep, that is. So this is our capital fib sequence here, and we're just pressing back to the upside. All right. So watching that over the long term, we'll continue to monitor. There is your 80-20 on the 1, right? Ranging in that zone. So we'll continue to watch and see where price goes from there. Okay. Questions on the dollar yen? No? 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 All right, cool. Over to we'll go over to this Aussie Swiss. Still just range bound right now, right? We got the 80-20 on the daily time frame. You see we're just pressing sideways. Come down to the 4, and we're also just pressing sideways, right? Danette mentioned the potential of a crown pattern, which you look at on the 1 hour time frame, but you see we're just pressing sideways. We are starting to get a twist in the cloud here, right? But we have not been able to break our trend line originally. So yesterday I had my trend line running straight up here, right? And we got the trend line break, we pressed down, but we pressed back into the zone. And with price just moving sideways like that, I decided to shift this trend line to the outermost point, right? Because ultimately we are just moving straight across the screen. Okay, with the ups and downs, we're in a range right now. So I shifted that trend line to the outermost point and looking for a nice bearish break of the trend line here, as some additional confirmation on this setup here. Right. So that's on the 4, that's the 80-20. So we'll continue watching that. Then down on the 1. This is look at that potential crown pattern that Donette brought to our attention yesterday. Okay. So we'll watch and see if this develops. We're just pressing sideways at that right tip. We'll see if we're able to get prices to turn over, or if price is able to break the cloud. We got a bearish cloud ahead. We already got our TK crossover. If we're able to break the cloud to the downside, right, we could be in for this crown to fail and price to continue moving down. Okay, so let's continue to watch this to see. This is another confirmation you could use, right? We got the 80-20 on the 4, right? We know we're in that 118, 127 zone. You could also wait for a break of the cloud on the 1 hour, right? As an additional piece of confirmation. Get a nice bearish break and close on the cloud, right? And that could be your entry for that move down to the downside. All right, so something else to think about, another way to get some additional confirmation there. Okay, so that is the Aussie Swiss. Any questions here?
Ryan, can you go back to the 4 again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I had a sub fib drawn instead of that one, and I just fixed it. So okay, great.
Gotcha. Yep,
Thank
running
you.
off the low here.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And 15-minute. What are you seeing on the 15-minute? And let's see. Let's see. What is Ann looking at on the 15? I played out already. Okay. All right. All right. Yep, right here. Didn't quite push it to that 118, 127 zone. Came a little bit short, but moved to the downside, got to that 382. Beautiful. Nice work. Nice work. Good to see you. Good to see you, Miss Ann. All right. So that's the Aussie Swiss. Aussie NZD, get an update on that, where we are. We didn't quite, we worked out at that 118 level, just shy of that 118 level on the 4, right? Started pushing up, and now we're pulling back, right? Coming back down to the downside here. We come down to the 1, where we also just wicked that 118 level, right? Started making our way to the upside. We broke the cloud on the 1. We're coming back and we're retesting the cloud. We're still bullish ahead, right? Lagging span is still above price. Okay. And we got our TK crossover there. So pulling back right now on this 80-20 on the 1 hour on the Aussie New Zealand. See if we get an opportunity as price settles in. See price push back to the upside to get us to that 382 level. Okay, so if we run a sub fib just to track price off the low, there we are there, right? So that wick got us to that 618, but we're pulling back into the zone. So we're retesting the cloud back at just shy of a 50% retracement. Look to see if price turns back over and gives us a move back to the upside. Okay. So watch this one. If you didn't enter that, right, this could be an opportunity for you, right? We got that cloud break. Now we're getting a pullback, entry opportunity to move this back long on this Aussie New Zealand. Okay. Questions here?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. All right. Cool. Let's take a look at these yens. We didn't look at them yesterday. Just to track where price is. So Aussie yen, we're pressing toward 105. 105.45. We've already gotten back to that previous high off the wick here, right? This was a previous resistance level. Take that out, right? And 105.45 is the next resistance level. So we'll come down to the weekly. I'm going to run a fib off the low just to track price. And it looks like we might have just got to that 382. Let's see. 86.409. No, so we just missed the 382 on the weekly time frame, but we're headed toward the D extension. So D extension 107, 107.688. No signs of slowing down, right? So price continue moving to the upside on this Aussie yen. We come down to the daily, and there's our fresh AB boundary and the push up. And you see this 118, 127 zone is in line with that weekly D extension, right? So if we break this 105, 405 level, right, we could definitely be headed into a 118, 127 zone on the daily time frame. That could be a pretty powerful zone, seeing as we got that D extension on the weekly time frame as well, right? So we'll watch and see. We'll watch this 105, 405 level, see price on the stochastic pressing back down to the downside, pressing back into the buy zone. So that could potentially give us momentum to push through that zone, especially since we don't have the BOJ making any decisions until I think it's the second week in June. So we definitely could see this continue to rise here. All right. So that's on the daily time frame. We come down to the 4. And there we are on the 4. Okay. That D extension at 109 here on the 4, outside of that 118, 127 zone on the daily. All right. So we'll watch these and see. Like I said, this level 105, 405 is going to be super important. And if we break that level, we could be off the races for a little bit longer to the upside. If we stay below, then things could potentially get interesting from a technical perspective. So double top opportunity and seeing price come back down. So we'll watch that and see there on the 4. Coming back to the 1, we're still above the cloud. And let's see where we are. There we go. As far as our fib is concerned, right, that D extension is in line with that 80-20 on the daily, 105.615. Right. So maybe another push to the upside to get us to that 105 level, hit the D extension on the weekly, push into the 118, 127 zone on the daily, and give us an 80-20, a D extension on the 1 hour as well. It'll be interesting to see, right? Mixed data for the Aussie the past couple of days, so we'll see if we can get some traction and a continuation to the upside there. All right, so that's just an update on the Aussie again. Any questions on this one? Nothing doing right now. I just want to follow back up on these. No. All right. Arcadian still sitting sideways here. Okay. Daily time frame, we already got to the 382. We've been pressing back to the upside after that strong move down. Nice break and retest, and then the continuation up. But we've just been hovering here for a bit. So on the 4, you can see this more clearly. We are in a 118, 127 zone on the 4. We missed the D extension on that last push to the upside. So watching to see here, right? Do we, along with the other potentially other yen crosses, do we get another push to the upside to get us to that D extension, right? And give us a double top scenario here and then come back down below this 117, 354 level. That's kind of where my mind is with the yens, is we could potentially see another push to the upside going into their rate decision in June. So that's what I'm looking at, and just watching technically to see what happens, and watching on the fundamental side, obviously, to see if anything changes or if any of the conversation changes the yen continues to stay weak, right? So down on you one, so we got an 80-20 on the 4, but price is still pushing to the upside. Here on the 1, we got fib coming off the high here, and we're just trickling to the upside, right? Getting to that 618-786-86 range. So slowly moving on all of these yens back to the upside. So we'll continue to monitor that there, right? So it hasn't pushed into the sweet spot on the 1 hour yet. So continue to stay patient if you're looking for a deep retracement on this CAD yen to the downside. If you're riding this long, right, continue managing your trade as price continues to push up. Okay. Questions on the CAD yen?
No.
All right, cool. We got Chairman Jordan coming to the microphone so this evening. So let's watch and see what he says about the Swissy. But we got 80-20s on the monthly, right? We got an 80-20 on the weekly, right? We got an 80-20. Actually, we don't have an 80-20 on the daily. The daily, we did get to this 382 here. Okay. We did get there. 159, 971, right? That's 160, 065. So we did get to 382 here. And that's where this red line comes into play, right? This red line, and you see it on the weekly and the monthly, right? This red line is a D extension on the daily. It's also the D extension on the weekly as well. So if we do get this last push to the upside, getting us to 176,707, right? We'll get a D extension on the weekly and the daily. Okay, 80-20 on the monthly. You see your stochastic pushing to the upside, moving back into the sell zone. So we'll see. This one could be interesting, right? This may be one that moves before the others just because of the state of the Swiss franc. But we'll watch the data and we'll see what Chairman Jordan has to say this evening. But the Swissy could move before the rest of them if we get a move, right? So we come down to the 4 here, and you see where we are, right? Just shy of the 50%, and you see just pressing sideways right now. Okay, so nothing doing there. The 80-20s are all on our higher time frames. And so watching those levels to see if we get a catalyst to move them back down. Okay. And then here you actually had a crown pattern form right here. Right. And so we'll see if we get price to continue that move to the upside and get us to matching finish out this crown pattern before we get a reversal, right? And that would be in alignment with price getting to the 176, 219 level. Okay, so overall, uh, some of these could get interesting depending on the fundamental side of things, right? Including that euro yen as well. Depending on how the market responds to their rate cut next month also. Okay, so coming into the end of the month, it's normal to see things slow down a bit. The data slows down, but you also have investors closing out books, things like that. So periodically, you might see a couple sharp moves here or there, but overall, right, we're just moving slowly through the end of the month, which is common. All right, so that's where we are on this Swiss yen. Like I said, potentially one more push to the upside, but the Swiss yen could move before the rest of the yen crosses. And a potential move to the downside whenever it's ready to do so. Okay. Questions on the Swiss yen? Nope. All right. Beautiful. Somebody say something?
Oh,
Nope. All right. Cool deal. Euro yen still running long, right? So here on the monthly, we're trying to break above this previous monthly high, right? We couldn't close above it last month, but we're coming back to that zone, right? So we'll see if we're able to close above here. Okay. Come down to the weekly. We already got our deep retracement and we're pressing long, right? 175. I'm going to mark this level just to track this level here throughout. All right. So see that 175 level is right in that 118, 127 zone on the monthly. Okay. So we'll watch that. That'll definitely be a key level if we get there. Okay. We come down to the daily. Daily, we have an 80-20, but you see we're pressing to the upside, right? We push through the 118, 127 zone. This is that previous monthly resistance level, and this is that daily resistance level, 171. So this is the level that I'm watching, 171, 544. We break that level, 175, here we come, right? If we stay below that level, then we could see price start to turn over and make its way back down to the downside. Okay, but we got some time before that happens. All right, so that's kind of the look on that, right? Do we get a double top or do we blow through the high and continue running to the D extension on the daily, but also that weekly D extension as well. Okay, so that's the daily look, daily potential both ways. We come down to the 4. Did I not have fibs on the 4? I thought I had these running on the 4. There they go. All right, so that's where we are on the 4, right? We just missed the 382, pressing back to the upside. And again, you see there's 175, 574 level right in that 118, 127 zone. So we got some confluence on multiple time frames of this 118, 127 zone and 175, 574. So that leads me to the side of, right, potentially more pushes to the upside first. Okay, so but that also is in alignment right now based on where the fundamentals stand. All right, so we'll see how things continue to move, but that's where we are on the 4, right? Potential to push into that 118, 127 zone before we potentially get a retracement on that. Okay, and then on the 1, we do have an 80-20 here. Now, use your additional confirmations on this, obviously, because it's a yen cross, right? And we could see this run continue, but price is sitting in the zone. Okay. So do we get a retracement before we get that last push to the upside. So I'm just running the trend lines to the high. So there's our highest point. We did get a trend line break here. We came back and retested. I'm still being patient. What I'm looking for personally is a break of the cloud, right? We got this previous level here as well that we could come back and retest. I want to see a nice break of the cloud here with all the cloud confirmations, the Kumo twist. We already got a TK crossover, right? Lagging span is below price. So I want to see a nice strong break of the cloud to give me some additional confirmation of the retracement on this 80-20. So I'm being patient with this one, adding some additional levels just because we could see another push to the upside on this euro yen. But we do have the 80-20 here as an opportunity. So just watch it. Whatever your confirmations are, use those. And we'll see if we get a retracement before we get this last leg to the upside. Okay. Questions on the euro yen? No?
Nope.
Okay. Cool. And then the pound yen continues to extend its run. All right, continues to extend its run. We got 80-20 here on similar to the it was the euro yen, right? 80-20 on the monthly, but pressing long, right? 206. This will be interesting if we get here. 206, 231. That'll be very interesting if we get there. Okay. But would make sense. Interesting. We got a previous high here as well. So that would be an interesting move if we get there. But we'll keep our eyes on that 206, 231 level, but is kind of in alignment with another push to the upside. Here on the weekly, right? That D extension, monthly and weekly D extensions are in alignment. Push through the 118 and 127 zone. We're trying to push above this weekly resistance level. So that's the key level, right? This should be blue. That's the key level. Okay. Do we break above this 200, 472? Right? Do we break this? If we do, we're hitting the D extension on the weekly and the monthly, right? If we don't, that double top action move back down to the downside. Okay, so I'm watching this closely at this level. My eyes are here. We come down to the daily, right? And this is our 80-20 here on the daily, right? So we're just shy of the D extension, 201, 306. So looking to see what happens here. Okay, looking to see what happens. Do we hit that level and then continue to that 206? That's the question. Okay. So what happens here? And you see we're stalling now. Well, also our stochastic is in the sell zone. So could this turn over and push down? Right. So watching this one closely, we come down to the 4. Just tap that 118 level and press down, right? So do we get price to turn over and continue that move? That's where I am. Okay. On the 1 hour, we already got a 50% retracement. So if we're able to break this cloud, right, back to those details that Benny identified, right? So stochastic in the sell zone on the daily time frame, starting to try to form a high on the daily, right? Here, that's our high center point candle. Do we get 2 more candles to the right for a swing high to form there? Confirm that daily resistance level, right? And then do we get a cloud break here on the 1? So watching this one, are we able to continue to stay below the cloud? But do we get a cloud break here for additional confirmation of a move to the downside? Okay, so 80-20 on all your higher time frames. Looking at the lower time frame to see if we get some confirmation for a move down, at least maybe even in the short term, before last leg to the upside. So watching this one here for this action here. Right, cloud break, and then we'll likely get a pullback, and then see if that happens. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the pound yen. Questions?
Hey Ryan, I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you showed the that high and you said that that could potentially be a swing high, would you put a trend line there, or would that just be kind of aggressive and outside of your plan?
You can. No, you absolutely can. Right.
Okay.
I just didn't draw it on my daily time frame because those trend
Okay.
line breaks I look for on the lower time frame.
Okay.
But you definitely could run that inner trend line there. Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, right, technically, you potentially even have one more. Right. So if you drop down to a lower time frame, we bring this down. Right. There's your inner trend line there. Okay. But yep, definitely can. Yeah, I just didn't draw it there because those trend lines, looking for the breaks, I come down to the one and do that. Yep. But on your one, this would actually come like that. And move sideways through, and now we're pressing down. Yeah. Because that got range bound there, I would even adjust that to the outermost point just because it pressed sideways through that trend line. So there you go. There's your inner trend line looking for that break.
Right.
Okay.
The 1 hour would be the lowest time frame that you would look to see the lower low sticking out.
Yeah, for me. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sticking to these 1 hour charts, right? So looking for confirmation on the 1 hour if I'm taking the trade off the 4 or higher. Yeah, and I'm not dropping down to the 15-minute time frame or anything like that. And then looking for 80-20s on the one also for moves to the downside. Or moves, period.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yep. Any other questions on the pound again? No? All right. Cool. So that's a look at so I haven't looked at this New Zealand yen yet. It's NZD Swissy, right? We got a cloud break, push to that 118 level, double top. We got a cloud break, retest, and now we're trying to continue to the downside. So this 80-20 on the NZD Swiss is trying to play out. We'll see if we get that to continue, right? To get us head through 82. So that's just a quick update on the NZD Swissy 80-20. We didn't retest that level and push up, right? We were able to break it, pull back, and now let's see if we get that continuation to the downside there. Okay, so that's just a quick look there on the NZD Swiss, and then the NZD JPY. I haven't updated this chart in a while, so I haven't looked at it much. But boom, there we are on the daily. Okay, previous daily resistance we broke through 118, 127 zone. 190, I'm sorry, 98, right? So again, headed long, especially with that strength of the New Zealand dollar pressing to the upside. We broke. Let's see if we come back and retest, and then potentially another boost to the upside. Okay. Down to the 4. Let's see where we fall here. There we go. And there's our 80-20 on the 4. All right. 98,432 is the D extension. So we'll watch this as well to see what happens. All right. definitely have to be tons of change from a New Zealand perspective for this to flip, but we'll watch and see what happens. So that's the 80-20 on the 4-hour as well. Mark that out. Boom. There we go. Okay. So that's 80-20 on the 4. Down to the 1. See if those pop back in for us. Nope. No luck there. So we'll scan here. Boom. So here we are. 118, 127 zone on the 1. All right. Trying to press to the downside. We'll see if we get a break. We're starting to get a twist in the clouds. Right. So we could get some alignment here on this NZD-JPY if we get that cloud break, right, for a move to the downside and give us that retracement. Okay. So 80-20 on the 1 hour as well, right? Similar to that 4-hour, similar to the 4-hour setup as far as entry and stop loss goes. Right. Stop loss just a little bit higher on the 4, but there's your move there. Okay. So take that down to the 382. Boom. So there's your 1-hour setup there. All right. Let's see. See if we get some confirmation of that. Questions on the NZD-JPY? No. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir. Great session as always, man. Just continue to be patient. At least I know I am. I'm only in that one setup right now. So that's that Aussie NZD, seeing if it can make gains back to the upside after that correction. So just waiting it out. We're getting towards the end of the month, right? So keep that in mind. And then we're heading into June where, we're expecting some key decisions from central banks. So that's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Team, any questions before we wrap it up? Nope.
No.
All right. Benny said it, right? Patience, patience, patience. Okay. You guys have a phenomenal Wednesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. You guys have a phenomenal Wednesday. Find your 1% today. Peace.